going, everybody? Chaos Gamer, and yes, we are back with some more My Hero Ultra Rumble. And in today's video, we are going over the start of Season 14 patch notes. Now, if you do hear a little bit of background noise, my bad, I can't really control that. But with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's blow this shit right the hell up. And ladies and gentlemen, let us get started with today's video. And you can let me know down below, what buff did you like / hate the most? And you can say the same thing for what nerf you like / dislike the most. So, let's take a look. Throughout the maintenance update on November 19th, 2025, we made the following changes. Number 1, new features. The new feature My Room, which allows players to customize the main menu background, was added. The new item present box that has been added to season license rank 71 and above. Several items can be obtained randomly from a present box. For details on obtainable items, please check the in-game description. If you guys want to know as well, you can watch the data mines video. It does go over that. Gameplay settings, they added the auto dash settings, so we have a setting like Fortnite where now we can just run and we don't basically have to move the stick at all. I kind of like that in most situations. Added auto switch to item settings for recovery items. That's good. My brother was actually complaining about that, so I'm glad that they did that. Hey, who knows, maybe my brother is secretly a spy for Bandai Namco. Added a aim acceleration setting. So aim acceleration sensitivity x-axis, y-axis, aim acceleration duration, and then aim acceleration delay. Let me know for you guys that know kind of stuff like this. Is this really helpful, or is this like unnecessary? We got a login bonus. A display showing the time remaining until the next login bonus can be received was added. System adjustments. Number 1, increase the maximum amount of ally support points that can be earned in ranked matches. Okay. Remove collision detection between characters that have been KO'd. Adjust the volume of ally sound effects during battle to be quieter. Good, they needed to do this. Adjusted in order to allow placement of markers during the pre-battle countdown. Adjusted some aspects of how inventory screen behaves. When attempting to swap items, will no longer focus on an active ability slot. And when using a level up card, will now remember the ability slot that was lastly leveled up. A finishing attack can now be activated by holding down the melee attack button. Interesting. Damage will no longer be dealt to down characters during a finishing attack animation. What? Wait. Damage will no longer be dealt to down characters during a finishing attack animation. So you can... Oh, okay. So basically, while you're doing the finishing attack animation, nobody can interfere and try to take that away from you. Interesting. Okay. Objects placed by allies are now more easily destroyed with melee attacks. Alright. Change the color of the damage direction indicated to green when being targeted by Shota Aizawa's special action Erasure. Interesting. Okay, we got some bug fixes, because we already know if there's one thing that Ultra Rumble has, consistent bugs. Fix an issue for special actions that can be performed while dashing in mid-air. If players had set dash action to hold in the gameplay settings, the character would immediately begin flying when descending from a ledge or stepping on to a jump pad. Endeavor Flight, Hawk's Fierce Wing / Flight, all for one Youth Age Flight command. A character can begin flying again by inputting the dash action once more after becoming airborne. Fix the issue where the sensitivity of aim assist will change depending on the FPS setting. Just so that sensitivity is the same across all platforms. That is insane that was not fixed until now. Fix the issue where the range of the following quirk skills will sometimes change depending on the FPS setting. I heard of this before, so kind of crazy that now we're getting the fix for this. We got Froppy's Alpha, Rivet Shot. We got Denki Kaminari Original, Quirk Skills Alpha, the Electro Target. We got Hado's Quirk Skill Beta, the Spiraling Surge. And then Alt Might Quirk Skill Set, the Alpha Texas Smash Gatling. Fix the issue where there was a discrepancy between the sound effect and the actual timing of HP recovery when using an HP recovery drink. Added a fix to invalidate the match and return players to the main menu if a item cannot be picked up and quirk skills cannot be used. Bug occurs when a match is invalid. Rank point will not be affected. Okay, so I guess that's how they're gonna go about it. If you can't upgrade your stuff and you can't level up your quirk skills, you're out the match. That's it. Shinso Alpha, Binding Cloth, Crusher Strike. Fix the issue where the player could be pulled to Shinso's position and slammed. Wait, what? That was an issue? Like the issue where the player could be pulled to... Oh, no. Okay, no, I'm thinking of, like... I'm mixing Aizawa with him. Oh, that's kind of crazy. What the hell? And then Monoma All for One. Fix the issue where the player can stay floating for a long period of time when using Izuku Midoriya's One for All Quirk Skill Y second transmission. Glad they fixed that, man, after so long. That should have been fixed day 1. Battle style adjustments, aka the patch notes. Let's see. And of course, as usual, if you guys don't know, and if you do know, I mean, you know, but With this, we go over the official website first, and then we go over to the Hydros website, aka Ultra Rumble database, to look at the official numbers where stuff get nerfed and buffed. So we got Froppy with her Camouflage, adjusted so the skill is not interrupted when quirk skill level is increased, and then adjusted so the skill is not interrupted when plus ultra is activated. Dobby, the quirk skill set, the Alpha Flames of Resentment, adjusted so that even if not charged, 3 pillars of fire are released. Okay, that is a good thing because that one fire is trash. Like, when I was using it, I'm just like, oh, well, I gotta wait like 3 seconds, 5 seconds just to get the 3 pillars when I'm not at the camo. Pretty stupid. Increased movement speed while charging. Quirk skill beta Scorching Domination, just to make it easier to evade with dodge. What? Okay. And then we got the Gamma Crazy Torque, just so that the skill is not interrupted when quirk skill level is increased, and just so that the skill is not interrupted when plus chaos is activated. Amajiki, his beta Octopus Mirage, just so that the character's invincibility is not deactivated when an attack lands and plus ultra is activated. Okay. Oh, okay. All for one, the regular one, quirk skill beta Manipulative Claw, greatly adjusted the angle at which the skill can be aimed up and down, and then his special action Plunder adjusts so that the level of the stolen quirk skill is based on the user's own quirk skill level. Okay. Mr. Compressor's beta Sleight of Hand adjusts so that the attacks can still be deflected even if consecutive hits land. Monomer reduces the damage of all copied quirk skills. I think you need a little bit more than that for sure. Kurogiri with his Gamma Shadow Hunt Raid unified the amount of damage dealt by quirk skill Alpha when fired from within mist with that of a normal quirk skill Alpha. All my quirk skill set, the beta Carolina Smash, just so that the momentum of the charge remains even after the move ends. That's fire. And then just to make it easier to hit an opponent with a cross chop. So if you were hitting those before, you are compy. We got Huddle, Special Action Surge, increased aerial dash movement speed, and increased movement speed while hovering. Overhaul with his beta Piercing Dark Spear. Change the skill point of origin to allow it to pass through the quirk skill beta Piercing Heaven Ice Wall, used by an ally Shoto Todoroki original. So now, you can go through Shoto's beta if you are Overhaul. Shigaraki, the original one, they reduce his HP to 300. Special Action Collapse Hand. Increase aerial movement speed and adjust it to begin reloading after landing on the ground. Toga, the original one, quirk skill beta Slasher Killer Knife. This is all for the beta? Oh my god! Adjusted so that there's no declaration during the first slash. Adjusted so that momentum remains at the end of the first slash. Adjusted to track nearby opponents during the first slash. Increase the hit detection area of the first slash. Adjust for a smoother transition from singular to continuous slashes. Adjusted so that the skill ends immediately when continuous slashes are interrupted in mid-air. And then increase the duration of continuous slashes when not hitting an opponent. And then increase the vertical hit direction area of continuous slashes. And adjust it so that the momentum remains at the end of the continuous slashes. So yeah, this character got buffed like crazy on the beta. What the hell? Alright, then we got Midoriya 1 for all. Now hold on. Before we look at this, we all know what needs to get nerfed here. Everything. Everything needs to get nerfed on this character. Alright, so ground melee attack. Reduce the force of the second uppercut that knocks the opponent away. The Gamma second transmission. Adjust so that the gauge consumption does not stop during the following actions. While using recovery items, while opening item boxes, when rescuing / threatening civilians, during finishing attacks, and while wall climbing. Okay, so, and I'm bringing so far to didn't touch anything at all with this guy. Okay. So Hulk's quirk skill set increases HP to 300. Quirk skill beta Slicing Wind, just so that it cannot be activated while reacting to taking damage. Wait, what? Adjusted so that it cannot be activated while reacting to taking damage. They should have specified this because they mean like before you get to level 7. And then increase reload speed. And then for the quirk skill Gamma, Spiraling Slash, increase the reload speed. Adjust the following quirk skills to aim behind the wall when used while facing a wall. So we got Midoriya, the original one, with his St. Louis Smash. We got the quirk skill set Midoriya with his Gamma Ground Impact. We got Bakugo Special Action. We got Bakugo, the original one, with his AP Shot. We got Shoto Todoroki with his quirk skill set, the Heaven Piercing Ice Wall, the beta. We got Ida with his Alpha Reciprocal Wheel, and then his beta Reciprocal Burst. We got Kaminari, both the original and the quirk skill set on their Gammas. We got Kirishima, the original one, with his beta. We got both All Might, the original and the quirk skill set on their betas. We got Toga, the original, on her alpha. We got Malady on her gamma. We got Aizawa with his beta. We got Endeavor, the original one, on his gamma. We got Twice with his gamma. We got Shigaraki, the quirk skill set one, on his gamma. We got All For One on his beta. We got Lemillion on the original one with his alpha. We got Dabi on his beta, the quirk skill set one. We got Hawks, the original one, on his beta. We got President Mike on the gamma. We got Monoma on his beta. Amajiki on his beta and his gamma. And then on All For One, the youth age, his special action, Phantom Strike. Adjusted the following quirk skills so that you can jump while using them. So we got Midoriya with his alpha, the original one, on Delaware Smash Air Force, and then on the gamma, Black Whip. The quirk skill set one on the gamma. Bakugo on the alpha. Uraraka, the original one, on her alpha. The original Shoto on his alpha. The quirk skill set Shoto on his alpha as well. Froppy on her alpha. Kaminari, both the quirk skill set and the original on the alpha. Kirishima, the original one, on his alpha. The quirk skill set one on his beta. Yaoyorozu on her alpha. All Might, the original one, on his alpha. Aizawa on his alpha. Shigaraki, the quirk skill set one, on his alpha. Dabi on his alpha and the beta. Toga, the original one, on her alpha and the gamma. The quirk skill set one on the alpha. The original Endeavor has the alpha and the beta. The Endeavor has it on the alpha. Lemillion, the quirk skill set one, has it on the alpha. Hado has it on the alpha. Amajiki has it on the alpha. Overall has it on the alpha. Twice has it on the alpha. Compress has it on all his skills. Kendo has it on both the alpha and the beta, the original one. Malady has it on the alpha. Cementos has it on the alpha. Kurogiri has it on the alpha and beta. Monoma has it on the alpha and gamma. Shinso has it on the alpha. And then finally, President Mike has it on the alpha. Special tuning skill adjustment. Silver the Piece All Might original. Adjust so that the effect activates even after revival. Wait, what? Silver the Piece All Might. Adjust so that the effect activates even after revival. Okay, I understand now. We hope you continue to enjoy My Hero Ultra Rumble. So this was pretty lengthy, I'm not gonna lie. The only thing that I will still continue to ask until they actually add this is make an option when you are in a team battle before you start the match, the main menu, that you have the option to leave. I don't get why they still haven't added that. Put that back in the game. Everybody is asking for that. But now that we take a look at the website, let's take a look at the Discord or the Ultra Rumble website to see the actual numbers and stuff got buffed and nerfed. Alright guys, here we are on the Discord. Let's take a look at the values at which stuff got buffed / nerfed. So we're going to be starting off with All Might on his beta. It looks like the down power on all the levels goes from 50 to 0. Then we got Amajiki on his alpha, the max range strike version of it. So at level 2, it goes from 108 to 105 on both damage and guard break. At level 3, the damage and guard break goes from 111 all the way to 108. At level 4, it goes from 115 to 111. At level 5, it goes from 118 to 115. At level 6, it goes from 121 to 118. At level 7, it goes from 124 to 121. At level 8, it goes from 127 to 124. And then at level 9, it goes from 130 to 127. Next, we got Kurogiri with the Gamma, his placement. The damage goes from 15 to 12, and also with the guard break as well at level 1. At level 2, it goes from 16 to 13. At level 3, it goes from 17 to 14. At level 4, it goes from 20 to 15. At level 5, it goes from 21 to 16. At level 6, it goes from 22 to 17. At level 7, it goes from 23 to 18. At level 8, it goes from 24 to 19. And then at 9 and 10, it goes from 25 to 20. Then we have the Gamma, the bullet. So the guard break and damage goes from 15 to 14. Sorry, not 14. Sorry, 15 to 44 at level 1. And then at level 2, it goes from 16 to 46. At level 3, it goes from 17 to 48. Then at level 4, it goes from 20 to 55. At level 5, it goes from 21 to 57. At level 6, it goes from 22 to 59. At level 7, it goes from 23 to 61. At level 8, it goes from 24 to 63. And then finally, at 9 and 10, it goes from 25 to 65. Next, we got All Might on the rush of his beta. The down power goes from 50 all the way down to 0. Next, we got Amajiki. Wait, isn't this the same thing all over again? Am I crazy? I think I'm crazy. This is like the same thing all over again. Hold on. This is literally looking like the same thing all over again. Yeah, it's looking like the same thing all over again. What the hell? So we can just skip that for free. I'm just gonna triple check just in case. Okay. Kurogiri, yeah, the same thing again. Okay, so here's some new stuff now. Uraraka for the magazine changes on her quirk skill set. So it looks like the penalty span on the alpha, all of it goes from 0 to 2. Then on the original Uraraka, it goes from 0 to 2 on her beta. And then on the Gamma, the penalty reload time and the penalty span goes from 0 to 6. And then the span goes from 0 to 1.4. At level 2, the penalty reload time goes from 0 to 6, and then the penalty span goes from 0 to 1.4. At level 3, the penalty reload time goes from 0 to 6, and then the penalty span goes from 0 to 1.4. At level 4, it goes from 0 to 6 on the reload time, and then the penalty span goes from 0 to 1.4. At level 5, the penalty reload span... Wait, is it just the same at all levels? It is the same at all levels. Okay, never mind. My bad. Next, we have Froppy. The magazine changes for her, so the penalty span at all levels goes from 0 to 2. Then we got the Gamma. So at level 1, the ammo goes from 50 to 100. The penalty span goes from 0 to 6. At all levels, it goes from 0 to 6 in terms of the penalty span, so we could look at the ammo specifically. And then at level 2, 85 to 100, and then another one going from 10 to 8. Then we have level 3, 120 to 100, and then for used ammo goes from 10 to 12. At level 4, 150 to 100, and the used ammo goes from 10 to 15. At level 5, it goes from 160 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 16. Then at 6, it goes from 170 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 17. At 7, it goes from 180 to 100, and then the used ammo goes from 10 to 18. And then at 8, it goes from 190 to 100. The used ammo goes from 10 to 19. And then at 9, it goes from 200 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 20. Next, we got Kirishima on his Alpha, the red drive version. Penalty span goes from 0 to 2. The original one on the penalty span Beta goes from 0 to 4. And then on the Gamma, level 1, 2, and 3, the penalty reload time goes from 0 to 10. At level 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it goes from 0 to 9. And then at level 9, it goes from 0 to 8. Then we got All Might, the original one with the penalty span on his Gamma going from 0 to 4. Shigaraki on the original with his Beta. So it looks like at level 1 to 2, the penalty reload time... Oh, an ad came out of nowhere on my freaking notifications. The penalty reload time goes from 0 to 7, and then the penalty span goes from 0 to 4. At level 3, it goes from... Oh, the same amount as well. Alright. At level 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it goes from 0 to 6, and the penalty span goes from 0 to 4. And then level 9, it goes from 0 to 6, and then the penalty span going from 0 to 4. Then we got Dabi, the original one, with his Gamma, the penalty reload time going from 0 to 9. And then the penalty span going from 0 to 3. At levels 1, 2, and 3. And then at 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it goes from 0 to 8, the penalty reload time, and the span goes from 0 to 3. While at level 9, the penalty reload time goes from 0 to 7, and the penalty span goes from 0 to 3. Dabi on the Gamma, variation 1. So at level 1, it goes from 220 all the way to 100, and the used ammo goes from 10 to 22. At 2, it goes from ammo 230 to 100, and the used ammo goes from 10 to 23. At 3, it goes from 240 all the way to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 24. At 4, it goes from 260 all the way to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 26. At 5, the ammo goes from 270 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 27. At 6, it goes from 280 to 100, then from 10 to 28. At 7, it goes from 290 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 29. At 8, it's going from 300 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 30. And then at 9, we have 320 to 100, with the used ammo going from 10 to 32. Then we got Toga on the original one. On her Alpha, all penalty span goes from 0 to 1, and then the Beta goes from 0 to 6. Then we got Hawks, the slicing wind version, with the Beta, the penalty reload span going on all levels, it looks like, from 12 to 10, and then the reload time going from 7 to 5. Then with the Gamma, okay, this is where things get different. So on level 1 through 3, the penalty reload time goes from 7 to 5, with the reload time going from 7 to 5. Then at 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it goes from 11 to 8 on the penalty reload time, and the reload time goes from 6.5 to 4.5. And then at 9, it goes from 10 to 7, and then the reload time goes from 6 to 4. Then we got Kendo, the original one, the penalty reload time and the penalty span going from 0 to 2 and 0 from 2, all of it the same. Then we got Mount Lady, the original one, the Alpha. Her penalty span goes from 0 to 2.4. And then on the Beta, it goes from 0 to 3. Then we got Cementos, the original one. At level 1, 2, and 3, the penalty reload time goes from 0 to 4. The penalty span goes from 0 to 3. Then at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it goes from 0 to 6, and then 0 to 3. And then level 9, it goes from 0 to 7.5, with the penalty span going from 0 to 3. Then the Gamma at all levels, the penalty span goes from 0 to 3. Then we got Shinozaki, the penalty reload time goes from 1 to 3, is 0 to 8. And then from 4 all the way to 8, the penalty reload time goes from 0 to 7. And then at 9, it goes from 0 to 6. HP changes with Shigaraki already going down to 300. Hawks is going up to 300. And that is basically it. Oh my god. So with that, that's why I ended today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and comment if you want to. You don't have to, but it's always greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe again. You can let me know down below what character you like that got buff or what character you don't like that got buff. And the same thing that could be said for nerfs. And with that, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.